Hi, this is Alise Saunders. I am here today with Nichole Rackliff from Dedham, Maine, who has recently joined the Untamed Souls group of creating a life that's wild and free. Nichole recently resigned her job just as of yesterday. She is living her dream here on this amazing farm with her horses, creating an amazing life for her and her family.
I'm Nichole Rackliff from Dedham, Maine. I own M&N Ranch, and we board horses, we do lessons, we lease horses, we train horses, such as this big guy. This is one of our stallions, and we also breed. And then with the breeding, we sell horses as well.
So Nichole, congratulations on resigning your socially acceptable job. Congratulations on creating this amazing journey and dream. So what was your job and what were you feeling and experiencing that led you to resign?
So I worked in the corporate world for just over 8 years. At my last position, I was an analyst. I monitored the financials of a local utility company. And before that, I did public accounting. And I just didn't really, I liked those jobs. I loved my job, but it wasn't really what I wanted to do. I love to be outside, and when I'm in my office, I want to be outside. So I knew that it wasn't what I wanted to do long term, but it's what I had to do to save up money to start this project. And before I did that, I was outside all the time. I did commercial fishing and I did carpentry or gardening, whatever I could do to be outside. But once I got my education, then I moved on to the corporate world, and that's when I realized I didn't really think it was for me. I wasn't fully comfortable being in a cubicle all the time. And so when we moved to this town, Dedham, we decided to get our horses here and not board them somewhere else. And once we started to have our horses at home, we had friends who wanted to be here and they wanted to do lessons or they wanted to board with us. And that just opened up a whole world that I never expected to happen. And from there, it just started to grow. So we started out just doing our own backyard thing, and then it started to expand and get bigger and bigger. At any given day, we have over 30 horses on our property. We're breeding multiple horses a week sometimes. We have horses foaling either in the spring or in the fall. And we have a ton of amazing lesson students. And so from our little tiny seed, we just started to get bigger and bigger. And from that, I decided that I couldn't do both all the time.
Resigning your job, what were your biggest mental and emotional blocks to making your dream a reality?
I guess the biggest thing that was a block for me is not necessarily, everybody always says it's the financial aspect of it, but for me, it wasn't necessarily the financial aspect of it because I feel like I can get a job. I'm not afraid to work. So if I had to flip hamburgers for a while to get by, then that would be fine. So for me, the biggest block, it was more emotional. I didn't want to fail, and I still don't. And that's really hard to overcome. It's really hard to invest yourself emotionally, financially, physically into something that you really hope is going to happen and have it not fail. So I guess that would be my biggest block, was that. And then the second one, of course, was the financial impact. I'm leaving a corporate job that I have a steady paycheck from to do something that I hope is going to happen and come to fruition, is going to succeed. So there's a financial impact, but for me, that wasn't the biggest one. For me, my biggest block is success. I don't want to fail at it. I want it to grow, and I want to be able to continue to do it and offer what we offer.
Nichole, tell us about the dream that you're in process of creating for your family and your business.
Well, at this point, we are starting to invest a little bit more into our property. So we started out really small. We wanted to just be able to offer reasonable lessons and boarding and leasing for people who wanted to get into the sport. The horse world is a challenging sport. It's a big investment for people to get into. But emotionally, it's even bigger because you don't have anybody else to rely on. You're fully relying on yourself. There's no team. It's an I, not a team. So for us, what we want to be able to do is expand on our lesson program. We want to be able to take on some more boarders, and we want to expand our breeding program a little bit. We breed Shires and Gypsies here, and both of those breeds are not readily available to everybody. They're more of a specialty breed. And so we want to get more into that. We really like the breeding. And we started to tip our toes into it not that long ago. And this year, we've become a lot more invested in that. We purchased a stallion last year, and he's been working for us. And then this year, we also decided to build an indoor riding arena with 2 attached barns on it. So that's going to bring in more boarders because we have more stalls. So we're going from a smaller barn to a much bigger barn. And we do lessons year round already, but it's outside. So everything we currently do is weather dependent. So by building this bigger indoor, we're going to open it up to ourselves to be able to do lessons year round and in a little bit more comfort. So we're hoping that that project is going to be done by the end of the month. And with that, it's going to help us expand a little bit more. So that's going to be really exciting.
So Nichole, would you say that it's we'll build it and they'll come? Or are you going on hope, faith, and a little bit of strategy with this barn building?
Well, with all the years that I've been doing this, I've been told probably 1,000 times, Nichole, you need to quit your job and do this full time. Build an indoor. They're going to come to you. And even this fall, I had multiple people tell me, you've got to build an indoor, because if you can build an indoor, then you're going to be able to make a go of this. You can start doing what you want to do, which is what I've decided to do now. So I guess, to be honest, there is some strategy to it. Just from our minor tweaks to our building, we're going to be able to offer a little bit more in the way of boarding. I guess there's a little bit of hope in all of that. There's a little bit of hope in everything that I do, but there is some strategy to it, because in the last few years, I've seen what the requests are from potential boarders and potential lesson people. And so I've been able to build off of that. So I guess that's where my strategy lies.
And do you have a lot of fear or anxiety at all about it not being like locked down in the moment that you resigned? Like, how are you feeling about that?
Locked down.
Like,
I don't think anything
reservations,
Yeah.
you know?
I don't think anything's locked down. In the world that I live in, even when I was doing my corporate job, things change by the minute. And you have to be so flexible. You know, you can't live hard and fast to a schedule, especially in the breeding world. Not even taking into consideration anything else like the weather. You have to be able to go with the flow and move with what's happening. So, you know, if I were really locked down hard and fast, I would never get into this. This would not be something I could get into, because even today, it rained last night. We were supposed to go get hay this morning, and we can't get hay now. We might not be able to even get that batch of hay. So our plans change by the minute. So I guess as far as being locked down, I would say I'm definitely not locked down to anything. If this fails, which I hope it doesn't, and I don't think it's going to, I'm going to make tweaks, and I'm going to keep trying, because that's what you have to do in these kind of businesses. You can't just say, this is all I'm going to do. I'm not going to do anything else, because you won't succeed. If you have that mentality, you'll never succeed. You have to be able to go with the flow a little bit. Make your changes as you go. People are understanding. They're flexible. They're going to go with you. If they like what you offer and they like your environment that you create, they're going to go with you.
So what are you manifesting for the future? What does that look like, say, 3 to 5 years from now?
So for the business, I would just like to start to continue to expand everything that we offer, and make sure that we are catering to our customers, you know, doing what we say we're going to do, and continue to expand upon our lesson program, our breeding program. For me personally, I'd like to just start to become the person that I was before I got so stressed out and pulled into so many different directions. So what does that mean? For me, I was doing 2 full-time jobs, and that's not sustainable for a very long time. I did it for over 8 years, but toward the end, I was not enjoying either one. So my passion, which is this place, turned into another job, and it made me not want to do it anymore. Well, I guess I shouldn't say I didn't want to do it anymore, but it was a job. So when your passion becomes a job, it's not as much fun as it was when it was your passion. or your hobby. So I guess for me personally, over the next few years, whether it be 3 or 5, I want to enjoy it again. I want to not be so stressed out because I have to go to this 50-hour-a-week job and then rush home to do my other job, which is running this barn. I want to be able to enjoy it. I want to be able to ride more. My own personal horse. I haven't ridden her in over 2 months just because I've been so busy working, because I'm not the same person that I am here when I'm at work, and I'm not the same person at my corporate job that I am here. I'm one of those people who very much separates life at home and life at work. And so I would just really like to start to enjoy it again. I would like for it to be my hobby again. And I would like to want to be out here for hours on end and not be thinking about other things in the back of my head. I guess that would be for my personal and for the business. So hopefully I'm successful in both. I'm already feeling very successful in my personal endeavor of starting to enjoy being in my barn again. And I think that the barn itself is going to do really well.
So how are you staying in the energy of creation right now?
Well, for me, I want to make sure that I'm staying on track. And I feel like once a lot of people get into starting their own business, maybe they stop learning, maybe they stop growing. They get really focused. They get what I call tunnel vision. And I want to make sure that I don't get that. So one of the ways that I try to stay focused on what I'm doing, what I'm offering, making sure that I'm accomplishing different goals, whether it be for myself or for the barn, is I get bored. I don't have any new ideas. We've been doing the same thing with 40 other students this week, and I need some new ideas. So I'm going to go and work with some of these higher level, more advanced riders that I ride with, that I call my instructors. And I'm going to see what they can offer me. What can they teach me? And by doing that, it just keeps everything fresh. But I'm also experiencing their atmosphere. I am going over to their barn. I'm seeing how they do things. So by continuing my own education, I'm going to continue to have drive to want to teach other people things, because it's kind of boring doing the same thing over and over and over. I want to make sure that my lesson program is always evolving and it's improving on people's skills.
So what most excites you about what it is that you're doing, what you're creating here, and what do you hope to gain mentally and emotionally?
I think I'm most excited about having a little bit of freedom. So I'm not chained to a desk. I can be outside. This is what I call my other office. I'm going to have the freedom to be able to go and continue learning. I'm going to be able to make my own schedule, which is amazing. And I can start to tune in on my focus of what I want to be doing every day. Do I want to focus purely on lessons? Do I want to focus on my breeding? I'm going to get to make those decisions. I also want to just make sure that I go back to being me. So my other job, when I was doing multiple jobs at a time, took an emotional toll on me. And I started to notice that I just wasn't the person that I used to be. I was emotionally drained. I was tired. I was grumpy. I wasn't focused on anything. I want to get back to the person that I was before I was so stressed out and emotionally drained. And I think that this is going to help. This is one step in the beginning that's going to make it so that it's just, I start to enjoy it more. And I think that that's the most important, and the most important for me anyways.
So advice for anybody who is thinking about resigning their job today, just like you did.
I guess my first bit of advice would be, don't do it if you're worried about the financial impact of it. The financial impact should be number 2. You should be mostly focused on success in the sense of emotional success, not success as in being popular or being famous or anything like that, but be true to yourself. Do what you want to make yourself feel better. Because if you're doing a 9-to-5 job that just is killing you on the inside and making you grumpy and sick or unhappy and miserable to the rest of the world, you don't do yourself justice or them. So if you're going to quit your job, do it for the right reasons. And mine were, I wasn't miserable, but I was just pulled. I was pulled in two totally different worlds, and it was just starting to take a toll on me emotionally. And I just was realizing I didn't have enough time in the day to do anything that I truly liked. So my passion became a job, which is not what it's supposed to be. So now I'm going to turn that job back into a passion. I'm not going to just rely on financials either, because you have to have passion. And when you have passion, then everything else will fall into place. People are going to follow you. You know, if you provide an environment that people want to be in, they're going to follow you. They're going to do what you're offering. They're going to go with you, and you'll be successful. You might not be a millionaire, but you'll be able to pay your bills, and you'll be happy about it, which is way better than being miserable about being able to pay your bills.
I really had to redefine my definition of success. And I really love what you said, because my definition of success used to be how much money I made. And now I measure success by my level of happiness. So, how do you redefine success for yourself right now that you've left the corporate world?
Well, I think that a lot of people define success as financial gain. That's the world we live in. Whether it's here in the United States or some other country, financial gain is typically how we measure success, or tangible objects. A lot of people are very, very impressed by other things, by maybe the jeans somebody wears, or their cell phone, or their car, or the house they live in. I don't define success that way for myself. I define success as, how do you interact with other people? How are you nice to yourself? How are you nice to the animals and the environment around you? I'm not saying you have to be like, green energy. I'm just saying, how do you interact with the environment around you? Are you pleasant to be around? That's how I think about success. And for me, I want to be successful in the sense that I want people to want to be around me. I don't want to be that miserable person who is so stressed out because of the job I do or doing multiple jobs. I want to be the person that is enjoyable to be around, that is not only somebody who wants to have people around them, but wants to be around other people. So I guess that's where I would leave it as success or financial gain. But I'm also not motivated by money. So that makes a difference. If somebody's motivated by money, then that's going to be how they interpret success.
Nichole, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here today. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for having me. This has been so fun.